The Catacomb
Cult
podcast.
created by a madman's distorted desires.
What do you think will be the next obstacle the Earth people will put in our way? The saucers are up there, and the cemetery's out there.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this episode of the Catacomb Cult podcast. It's a very special episode. I have my longtime friend with me and runner of record labels, badass music video maker, all around badass, Shan Horan. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, man? How do you spell your name? How do you say it?
Javincito.
Javin?
How you been, man? How you doing?
Been good. Damn, we've been friends since 20 plus years now. Shit, dude.
I was just to let the audience know, me and him have been friends since we were kids. We're next door neighbors. He was like in punk bands and rock bands, and he recorded my first rap song ever on that dusky Tascam tape cassette, 4-track or whatever it was.
We were tracking on that where I thought it was expensive at the time. It was like $150, and it was like you could record 4 tracks at a time, and we were doing like, I would be on drums and you would do vocals. It was pretty dope, man.
Yeah, man. I wish I still had those tapes. Somehow they got lost, but fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah. I would kill for those, dude.
Tell the people who you are, what you do, and how you know me, man.
Yeah, okay. Well, my name's Shan Horan, ironically, it all rhymes. Yeah, and worked for record labels. Boy. I am Irish too, so Shanny boy, you can call me that. But yeah, I worked for labels, different record labels like Republic Records, SPG, all types of stuff, and also direct, which is it's pretty cool. It's like me and Javin, we've known each other since we were little kids, and we always kind of aligned from recording music to getting into video and all types of shit. It's super cool to bounce back here like 20 plus years later, and we're sharing the same creative hobbies.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy all the how long we've known each other and where we are now. You know what I mean? It's just from a little town to
we also didn't like each other at the start, because I was like into metal and punk rock, and you were like this kid that was super into like rap and hip hop and shit like that, and it was like this thing
I remember.
That just worked, though. It was funny. Yeah,
my girlfriend at the time introduced us, and we were on the opposite spectrums of like it was fun times though. Then we eventually, I think you hit me up the very first time, and you were like, "Hey man, you want to borrow some sugar or something?" Do you remember that story? We're neighbors now. Like
hardcore drugs? No.
We were neighbors. It was when I first moved to Baderville, and we were neighbors. Yeah. And you were like, "I'm just showing you some neighborly love or something. So if you ever need sugar or something."
I got you. Well, dude, that's the kind of the quintessential neighbor thing to do. Hey, can I borrow some sugar?
Yeah.
Hey, do you got any eggs? Like, I need to bake this cake. Like, who bakes cakes anymore though? You know?
And then I went to your house, and you brought me to your studio, and it was all steezed out, man. Like steezy lights and fucking strobe lights and metal playing, and I was like, whoa, man, this dude's dark.
Yeah. Still am though, man.
It was dope, dude. It was dope. On a scale of 1 to 10, how weird are you? That's a later question, but let's just start off.
Should I start with that now?
Yeah, sure.
From what, 1 to 10? 10 being
the weirdest.
Super weird?
Yeah. 10 is like basically incel, maybe. That's maybe too weird,
okay. I honestly don't think I'm that weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, people would see like, oh, you listen to metal and you got tattoos and all this shit, you're super weird. But it's like, I'm pretty level-headed, man. Like some of the people I meet in the world that are like clean cut, look like they're just normal, they're the weird motherfuckers. That's the people that you find out like they collect like people's hair and create dolls out of them, or have some like weird dungeon basement type bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you definitely are one of the most rational people, and like yeah, you're one of the most rational. Yeah, you think about what you're gonna do, as opposed to me, as like when we were younger, all the crazy shit I got into with you around and shit. You had to experience. I subjected you to some of my wildness too much, but
yeah, we won't talk about that. Statute of limitations.
Oh, I don't
here,
care,
right?
man. All my stuff's out there. I don't care. I'm an old man now. I got gray in the beard, dude.
Oh, dude, same. Well, I don't have a beard now, but you know.
What's up, everyone? Javin here. I just wanted to take a second to mention my online store. We have prints, t-shirts, hats, and special gifts with each purchase. Everything is handmade and designed by myself or other amazing artists I know. Quality materials and timely shipping, plus that extra special ingredient, love and appreciation. Your support helps my creative endeavors and supports other artists like me. Visit thecatacombcult.bigcartel.com. Yo, new and limited items are cycled through there all the time, so at the Catacomb Cult on Instagram or my personal page at Javin Romero. The revenue I see from this shop gets poured right back into things like short films, photo shoots, lunches, and gas money for any crew or actors helping me out, you know, locations, all that. Plus you get some dope shit. So thank you once again. Let's cultivate. That's stupid. All right, thanks. Peace.
Welcome back to the Catacomb Cult podcast.
So you want to talk a little bit about your backstory and like how you came to be who you are now and what you do?
Yeah, I can do that. You know, since I was a kid, you know, I really was into music. That's kind of what, you know, drove me, you know, to do things creatively and all types of stuff. You were too. That's why we always hit it off since day one. And, you know, I you know, was super into music, and I kind of wanted to make that my career versus, you know, it's so funny. Like, I remember my mom, she's like, you need to go to school to be an X-ray tech. And I'm like, fuck all that. Like, I don't like medical shit. I don't like hospital. I don't like any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, you know, she's like, yeah, there's a program at like what is that? Like, totally scam college that always hits you up and they have like telemarketers like, hey, change your career path. And it's like
University of Phoenix, right?
I don't think it's that,
No,
but it was someone. It was like they were located in like, you know, an old shopping center that it used to be like a KFC or some shit. Now it's a college. And but anyways, it's like, nah, fuck that. I ain't doing that kind of shit. And you know, got into tons of bands and went on tours and, you know, did all kinds of stuff. And when it came time to really, you know, turn it into a career path, I just kind of realized I was better at the business side than being in a band. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like looking back at all, you know, the music I wrote, like all the instrumentals, the guitars, all the shit was so subpar and shitty compared to the talented people I work with.
You were a motherfucker of a drummer though, dude. I remember you would do your shows and then double bass pedal and then come off stage and be in the parking lot with your asthma inhaler and shit. Like, you know what I mean?
It's a true story, but in my defense too, we both grew up in you know, Flagstaff, Arizona, and that was like, what was the fucking elevation up there?
7,000 feet, man, where the city is.
I know it's higher than Denver. It's like 7,500
like,
or some shit.
Yeah, Denver, I think, is like 6,500. We got them beat. That's their whole claim to fame is Mile High City, too.
Yeah. So we grew up higher than that. But, like, what most people don't know is, like, how... Is it thin or thick? Like, how thin the air is at high elevation. Yeah, and, like, you know, in our hometown... its only claim to fame was really that all the Olympic like divers and athletes and people, they would go train in Flagstaff because
the Cardinals too. The Cardinals every on the off season go train up there.
Yeah, they would go train up there because if you train at a higher elevation with that kind of, you know, thin oxygen, you go to a lower elevation, you perform way better. Yeah. Also comes into play with drinking, by the way. Like I could get drunk in our hometown, and then I go on tour and I'm somewhere at sea level and I'm like, I have to drink twice as much to get a buzz. Now that I'm
acclimated to California, when I go to Flag, I've, you know, when I see my parents and shit, you've seen it. I get wasted fast, man. It's like, I feel like I have like 2 or 3 beers and I'm like, whoa, I shouldn't be like this drunk already. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Same.
what about I wanted to ask you, how's your dad doing, man?
He's doing good. He's doing good.
Just to let everybody know. Oh, sorry to cut you off, but to let
you're
everybody
good,
know,
bud.
Shan's dad's one of the coolest. He fucking told me some rad stories over the years, over some beers of his job, some crazy.
He does crazy shit.
He does crazy shit. How's that shit going?
It's good, man.
Any new stories? Any new wildness from his job?
Well, the funny thing is he can't tell me those because it's confidential,
yeah.
you know? So I could just tell that he had some scenario happen. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, man. I'm glad I don't have that job. But it's interesting, you know, he's a neuropsychologist. So it's called like forensic. He's a forensic examiner, you know, the mental side of it. So sometimes he gets to be involved with cases that, you know, he has to go and testify on somebody's mental sanity and all types of shit like that. But it's intense. But I mean, lately with COVID, you know, I don't think he's been working, you know, as much. Or
Oh, really?
Yeah, because a lot of the work he does is also on the Navajo reservation.
Yeah.
And they got hit hard by COVID, which it's tragic. It just, you know, it ravaged like Kayenta and Tuba City and all the, you know, all these Native American territories. I think they sealed off the highway, so you couldn't go in or out of the Navajo Nation, which, you know, I don't think a lot of people realize it's a country within our country. You know, it's like a separate.
They have their own president, right? Or like leader and stuff. Yeah,
totally. They sealed off the whole thing. So yeah, you know, in regards to my dad, he hasn't been able to go and, you know, work and do that kind of stuff in that capacity. It's a weird time for everybody, you know.
Speaking of Kayenta, dude, when we went up there, I didn't think I would be such, you know, I lived in Arizona my whole life and I never saw Monument Valley, you know, those for people who don't know, those famous rock structures that you see in Looney Tunes movies, everything, you know. And
Back to the Future, Forrest Gump.
Yeah. And when I saw them, I was just like, I didn't think I would be affected that much. Maybe I'm just getting old and sentimental, but when I saw them, I was just like, I was in awe, man. That was
I know. You were
a fun
crying
time.
so much.
I know, man.
I tried to find the tissues. I'm just joking. Javin didn't cry, but that was fun though. I mean, me and Javin were up there filming a TV pilot.
Yeah.
For something that's coming up. We can't talk too much about, but
yeah,
that was fun, man. That was really cool. Just the whole experience. And I think there was like a holiday like 2 days later, and I blink and we're just getting hammered with your whole family.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah,
that was fun.
That was a fun night, man. Yeah. Well, so on that topic, do you consider yourself like a optimist or a pessimist? Are you a
optimist?
Hater? I ask everybody this. I asked my last two guests this, and they kind of made me look like a hater, but I am a hater. But I think people need a little bit of. I'm not like a hater on specific artists or anything. I'm just in general, like the whole the landscape of social media and this era we're in. How are you feeling about it? If that makes any sense.
I'm like in the middle, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think it's healthy to be a complete and only an optimist or only a pessimist, because there's pros and cons to both sides, you know. So it's like, you know, if I'm a complete optimist and let's say I'm working a musician or band's, you know, album cycle, and I'm like, hey, we're doing this thing, it's gonna be great, and I don't have the objectivity to be like, oh shit, this one idea sucks, it's not working, this is bad, you know, like you can't really even out the scenario, you know what I'm talking about? So there's kind of like an ebb and flow of like be optimistic about things, don't be like a pessimistic little bitch about everything, because that'll make you go mental, you know, but also be a little bit guarded and a little cynical about things, just so that you can pivot and learn from that shit. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
What's one thing or multiple things that really bothers you right now? That's like just
Are you talking like politically, like
anything,
online?
dude? Well, like in the American culture right now. You know what I'm saying?
I honestly, the thing that bugs me a lot. There's a lot of things that bug me, but one thing that irritates me is like, the attitude in general of like millennials and this weird like narcissistic tendency of being tapped in and having to show every aspect of like, I'm here's what I'm eating, here's what I'm doing. Like, I had a girlfriend at one point in time, and I had planned a really cool outing, like went out on my way, thought out, this really cool trip. We go, I pay for everything. It's good to go. And it's like, oh my God, here, we're getting ready to go do this, blah, blah, blah. And we get to dinner and here's what I'm eating tonight, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, at one point in time, I'm just like this has ruined the whole trip, because it's like, here we are, almost like it's working to show every aspect and not living in it. It's almost like people that go to concerts and film the whole live concert, and don't look away from their phone. And like, that's cool if they want it for posterity's sake, I get it. But also like looking at your phone and seeing a live concert versus just putting the frigging phone down and like enjoying the moment and taking a mental picture, being like, what is happening right now? What am I feeling? What smells, drinks, like what is going on here? And like to mentally store that in your head is a lot more powerful to me than to have like a clip that you're never going to fucking watch anyway on your cell phone.
And it's fucking, I mean, I get it. I do it too. I'm guilty of doing some of that. But like, for instance, it's lame. It's lame. It's even lame when I do it. Like, but I had a girl, my ex-girlfriend, a few years ago took me.
Boyfriend or girlfriend?
A few years ago took me to a Sage Francis concert.
Nice.
Well, she's
Who's
gonna
one
know
of your
who
faves, by the way. Yeah.
Like I love him, and and she didn't know who he was, and if she listens to this, she's gonna know it's her. But she's blocked me on everything. It's okay. But nice. No. But yeah, she brought me to Sage Francis, and she sat in the booth the whole time, looking at her phone on fucking Facebook. She's one of those trolls and shit, and she didn't even enjoy the show or even pretend. Like if she would have taken me to Ariana Grande, I would have pretended like I was having a fun time, even though I don't listen to Ariana Grande, but I would have,
Which I actually enjoy Ariana Grande.
Nothing against Ariana Grande. She's a great singer or whatever. I'm just saying
Republic
it's not
Records, yo.
Oh yeah.
Continue on.
My bad.
Good.
But I'm just saying, like, I would have at least showed an effort, and then at the end, she gets out of her booth and takes a selfie with Sage and B. Dolan in the background rapping, and then posts it like she had this great time, and it was just like it's so annoying and gross.
It's fake. Yeah. I remember, one of my ex-girlfriends, she had this like vision in her head.
And then not to cut you off, and then she got into QAnon and shit like that, so I pieced out.
Good Lord.
But no, continue. Sorry.
Can I go back to what annoys me? I forgot about QAnon.
Man.
But anyways, I had a ex-girlfriend that had this kind of mental idea of what like my work was and like how the music industry worked, and she almost had this like jealousy about it, where in her head it was things she had learned about them from movies, like rock star movies and shit, where it's like Motley Crue behind the scenes, and there's a bunch of strippers and like naked women pouring themselves on people or whatever. And in actuality, in like real life, it's like just a bunch of sweaty ass dudes trying to get Wi-Fi behind, in like a packed ass green room, that it's just like, yo, man, take a fucking shower. Like, I need Wi-Fi. I got to check my email. My mom's calling me. It's like not even cool, right?
Let me just pause you there for a second, because you're the one who introduced me to like punk rock and metal and stuff, like Leftover Crack and all those old bands.
Oh, yeah.
And who was that like rapping? They kind of rapped punk, not in a cheesy way, like, but it was mindless self-indulgence.
That was a good band. That was that was old emo status. Yeah.
But but speaking of that, so you would bring me to shows and I would go to your shows, and I would go to hip hop shows too, but rock and punk shows, like in those basements, are some of the smelliest fucking things I've ever fucking experienced in my life, dude.
Exactly.
Remember
dude.
that one basement one where it was like all green lights and
they
shit?
called this venue literally the basement. So yes,
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
Dude, it was like so hot and humid in there and like, fuck.
Just to give a background of this, it's like
Yeah.
in our hometown, you know, we had a couple venues, but it was like I would consider our hometown very hippie and like half the people that live there, it's like the most liberal city in Arizona, which is ironic, you know, and it's like all these old like, you know, Grateful Dead fans and shit that settled down in Flagstaff or whatever, and you know, basically we you know, the offspring of people like that. I mean, my parents were hippies. I don't know about yours, but
My dad is a deadhead, but you know,
there you go. See, you called it. So, you know, the offspring in this town, you know, the next generation, we you know, we wanted something to do, and there was two venues, and one would only do like Grateful Dead tribute bullshit. Not saying it's bullshit. Like I get it. It's good music and stuff.
I love the Dead, man.
yeah. I'm just saying it was like this angle towards like
I get you.
that older gen. So, you know, on the flip side, there was kind of two things going on. There was like a legitimate low cap venue that I actually was running for a while, getting like metal through the town, like the only source of metal coming through our town. And then this like black market of people that somehow found a house with a basement that was just disconnected from other houses enough to like put shows on there for a couple hours, and then the cops would show up or whatever. But so yeah, we kind of grew up in that where it was like makeshift music venue scenes, you know?
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
What does Bazooka say?
Bazooka's making her fucking appearance that she's made on every podcast so far. But yeah, that is how Flag was, man, and it was fun though. It was fun for that moment, being a kid doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot of good memories, man. I mean,
but yeah, speaking of the Orpheum, the one of the main venues in Flagstaff, you got me my show with Talib Kweli, one of my fucking rap idols that I puked about 6 times before I went on stage.
See, that was fun, man. I would get you shows, like I would try to get Javin the biggest shows possible because I would want to see you like squirm and like throw up because
that was sold out too. That place was sold out, dude. That fucking that's the reason I quit rapping, not because of you, but
because of me. Shit.
A month before that Talib show, I would wake up and be like, what a good night's sleep, and then just instantly. You have a show to do in a month, and like just count down, and it was just like it ate me up, dude. Probably gave me fucking ulcers that are soon to come and shit, dude.
That shit was fun. Like just get
it was
like,
fun,
like because I would just book you without even asking. Yeah. I would just be like, I'd be like, hey Jeff, guess what you're doing on this date? And you'd be like, oh, I don't know, man, what? And I'm like, you know, oh, you're open for this dude that I know you're a fan of. You're like, what? I can't do it, Shan. I can't do it. I'm gonna puke.
Yeah, but not to big myself up too much. But when you booked me on that rock and rap show, it was like a half hip hop, half rock, and you know
that was in the different city, like
the clubhouse in Tempe.
Yeah, totally.
And the rap stage was on the side. I remember rocking that show. And kind of like getting some metalheads or whatever fucking nodding, dude. They gave me a little bit of love, dude. I made some conversions that day.
That's good, dude. It
was fun.
Yeah, I will say this though about you, like you would get a little anxiety and like get worried and freaked out about the show, but you would like go slam a couple shots, throw up in the back alley, whatever. Yeah. And then you get on stage and fucking kill it seamlessly. You know what I'm saying? Like you would always bounce back and kill it.
Once I got on stage, I never like fucked up lyrics like a lot of my friends did, you know, and stuff. But once I got on stage, it was kind of just tunnel vision. I black out, dude. I wouldn't even. And then I had like a perfect
natural showman here.
Please. But I had a perfect combo. It was 2 Long Islands. And a beer, and I would just drink the beer just so I could throw that up.
Okay.
And then I would be like, one more Long Island and go on stage. And I'd be like drunk, but not wasted.
Okay.
And Long Island's, those are like foo-foo as hell. And
dude, I literally, the last Long Island I ever had was with you, ironically. We went to Laughlin.
Oh, yeah.
And it was with my girlfriend at the time. We were going to Laughlin. You were like, hey, I want to go. Laughlin is essentially like the poor man's Vegas for old people, right?
Yeah.
It's like straight up like...
It's where retirees gamble.
It is. They call them snowbirds. That's what they call them, right? So like they, you go in and like it's just old people everywhere. It's not like what you see in Vegas, like or in commercials where it's like young girls dressed up in like fancy dresses, like going to the clubs partying.
Yeah.
It's like Laughlin is like where old people go to die, and it's like 2 for 1 at the buffet, like all you can eat lobster for $9.99, like and like the casinos is so ancient and themed. Like what was the one, Colorado Bell? It was like just a giant riverboat or whatever.
I haven't been there in a since probably then, dude. That's probably the last time 10 years ago or something.
So we go and we're playing roulette, and I always had the mentality, and you probably did too, where when you gamble, you get alcohol for free. That's something that they do at all casinos almost. I don't think like Arizona casinos, but like Vegas, all types of shit. If you're gambling, they want to get you drunk so you lose more money. That's kind of what it is, you know? So they would bring out drinks in Laughlin, and it was like super weak diluted things. So you'd ask for whiskey and something, and it'd come out as like all soda. So I thought I was being smart and being like, give me a Long Island iced tea, because as you and me and most people know, that's all alcohol. You can't really dilute that with soda.
I think they do though with like the well shit, but like for the majority.
So? Okay.
But like there's like cheap Long Islands, and then there's like the real Long Islands. You got to like at a bar, you got to. But I don't know. They get you fucked up either way though. Like it is definitely a higher alcohol content than most other drinks.
It is, and I got hammered, right? All I remember is you and me were around a roulette table, and I keep winning, so some old lady's like, she wants to rub my belly for good luck, and I'm like, rub my belly for good luck, old lady. Like some shit.
And we were talking to the what do you call the lady who, the dealer, I guess.
The
dealer. I guess roulette is the dealer, but we were talking about her, how she was telling us about the Hells Angels and Mongol shootout. Yeah, because there was a
shootout. Yeah,
where she was like a Hells Angel flipped the table and we were hiding behind it. And I was like, oh shit. Yeah.
Oh, but I puked in an elevator that night.
Yeah. That's the last I remember of you that night. Yeah.
I vaguely remember you were like, I'm gonna go cash out or something, and I just like, I think I just left.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I had a Long Island iced tea. That was back when I was like 21. But the last time you and me went to Vegas shooting that pilot too, and you were on the ups, my friend. Like you were in the green
until the last night.
Now I'm gonna flip this podcast around. What happened to that positive amount of money you made?
If I would have went home with all that dough, I would have been like, it would have been the best weekend ever, man. Like, got to shoot a cool pilot, get paid, and just come home just loaded. And it was because I didn't drink the whole time we were there. The first 2 or 3 days we were there, I didn't drink. So when I was gambling, I was like, I was being more responsible.
Yeah.
I was up a lot of money in the last night.
And that's when I saw you. I was like, hey, Javin. Like, because I had been drinking all the nights. Like, not ridiculous, but I'm like, I'm in Vegas. Might as well take advantage of the night,
Well, and the listeners know I have anxiety. We talked about it on my...
Of course.
On my solo podcast.
Totally.
So, when I drink and I get hangovers, I get crazy anxiety. So I was staying sober because we had to work and shit. So.
Yeah. And you did great.
Yeah,
and I did not, but I see him and I'm just like bummed because I lost all my money at that day. Was it like day 3 or 4 or some shit? And I'm like, hey Javin, I'm gonna go to bed early tonight. Like I'll see you later, man. And you're like, I'm up. I got my rent paid for months. Like I'm good. I'm just gonna hang out a little longer. I'm like, you sure? And you're like, yeah. I'm totally sure. I'm like, okay, man, just don't lose all your fucking money. And then I go to sleep and I wake up and flash forward to the morning and I'm like, hey, Javin, how you doing? You're like, Shan, I messed up.
Dead hungover too. Like I was dying. You even offered to like pay for another day in the room just so I could sleep it off there, and I was just like,
totally.
No, I gotta get home.
You're like, I can't afford this anymore. I lost 3 months of rent in one night, and it was because you were having a good time, and like some pretty girl sat down next to you or something.
Some pretty girl. They were ringers, man. No, but,
no, they weren't. Like they're like targeting you on the security cameras.
They literally
like some snake
did.
Eyes shit.
They literally did. Like that girl was like, when I was about to leave, because I was like started losing a little bit, and I was like, all right, I want to keep my money, and she was like, don't leave now. It's about to turn. You know, it was blackjack, and she's like, it's about to turn around, and then there was there was like some Texas dude there with a fucking 10-gallon hat who was just. It was like a movie. He was just making. He was so funny, man. He was making the whole table laugh.
And
like
both these guys were employees of that casino.
Yep,
Is that what you're trying to say?
To take my rent money, man. That's what they were out. They're out for the little guy.
You know, it's funny though. Like
that was a fun trip though.
That was fun. I'm not used to winning, so I usually go with just like an amount where I'm like, hey, if I lose this, I'm not worried. You know what I'm saying? But my dad, like when I was born or something, he had to have like just taken all my luck from me and absorbed it. You know what I'm saying? Like somehow, because that motherfucker wins at everything.
Yeah, that's my mom too, man. She seems like I haven't been to like a gambling city with her in a long time, but it seems like when she sits down for breakfast and plays Keno, she wins like $900 and then $1,000 on Wheel of Fortune or something. You know, it's crazy.
Dude, that's my dad. And he, you know, when I was born, just as I was being like, just before I was born, you know, my parent, like I grew up in you know, my parents aren't rich. Like they were working class, like, you know, trying to survive, get through school, like put themselves through the whole thing. So they were about to have me, and they put in for this drawing for a new Mercedes, right? And they called the winner of the Mercedes is Kevin Horan, and they pronounced our last name.
Oh
wrong.
shit, he won?
He won a fucking Mercedes.
Jesus.
Dude. Yeah, this is back in the 80s. And
did he flip that thing or what?
Well, he was like, you know, like it's funny. He used it for like a week or two. Yeah. Because he you know, he had a couple friends that were like, hey, it'd be hilarious. Like one of his friends, he you know, my dad has dedicated his whole life to helping indigenous tribes, you know, especially the Navajo tribe, you know, and he speaks fluent Navajo the whole nine. I don't know if you knew that. You probably
I didn't know that.
He speaks fluent Navajo. It's crazy.
That is crazy. That's a hard language too, man.
Super hard. It's like metaphors, you know,
complex and shit. Man.
Totally. But I mean, that's why they used it, the code talkers in World War II and all types of stuff. But he had a friend who he, you know, one of his best friends, this Navajo dude, and he basically he had been like, somebody reached out and they were like casting. They were trying to find some Navajo extras for a movie, and it actually, flash forward to the future, it was actually Dances with Wolves. Right. Oh,
crazy.
That movie. Yeah.
That was a good flick too, man. I haven't seen it in a while, but that was a good one.
Totally. So my dad, he had just won that Mercedes, and his friend was like, hey, I need to go. They're trying to cast me for some movie and they're going to pay me money or whatever. Can you cruise up in this Mercedes and pretend like you're my driver? So I'm like some hotshot ass Hollywood actor, you know? So my dad puts on a suit and he like drives him. He's like, here you go, sir. And like everybody's staring at him, and instantaneously they give the guy the role for Dances with Wolves, like one of the main extras. And they say,
crazy.
But they say, we need you to shave all your hair off, your chest hair, everything. And he was like, fuck that, I'm not doing it. So he passed on the role, and then it turned out to be a huge movie.
Yeah, man. So I won Oscars and shit, I think.
Yeah. So, but you know, it was just funny. But yeah, so my dad flipped it and got enough money to throw down on a house, you know, just a deposit, and get like a pickup truck, you know. You've probably seen it, man. He had the same pickup truck for decades.
For a while.
It was that white one, that old fall apart thing in their backyard for years. Yeah.
He doesn't have that no more? No.
It broke down, man. That shit was too old.
Yeah, my mom's she's lucky too at in Vegas and stuff, but she does each year. She hasn't won it yet. Well, the Cardinals haven't won it yet, but every year at the beginning of football season, you can bet on who you think might go to the Super Bowl, and she always bets on the Arizona Cardinals, and it's some like
What is that?
she puts like $100 on it, and it's like something where she'd win like 50 grand if she gets it, you know. So
damn, okay.
Cardinals
I
just keep.
I was making a joke. I know Cardinals are the Arizona football team. I'm just giving you shit, dude.
We bleed red here. I guess everybody bleeds red, but they call it the Red Sea or whatever. But yeah, man, Cardinals, love them. So let's get into some career shit. Like, what are you doing right now, and what are your aspirations? Like, I know you've been filming a lot, and you've been talking about wanting to make like narrative pieces. What's up with that, man?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm still working at record labels, you know. I honestly, like, the name of the game now is content. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, most of what you need for any marketing cycle is like content galore, you know, and there's something to be said to be an individual like me, where I work at a record label and do A&R and sign bands and do all types of shit like that, but also on the side know how to market things and do content like music videos or lyric videos or whatever for my artists or other artists or whatever, because it is so valuable. It's like, if you're on Facebook and you're trying to, you know, post about your new song or something like that, and you post a photo or, you know, even like a link to a YouTube video, like that shit doesn't get seen by anybody. You know what I'm saying? And that's done on purpose by like Facebook, right? Mm-hmm. So like, you know, you post a YouTube link, Facebook wants to be YouTube's competitor at some point in time. You know what I'm talking about? Because the money that YouTube makes, like everybody that watches YouTube, they don't realize that you see like an ad for 5 seconds or 15 or whatever at the start of a video. That's like a fraction of a cent that goes to the musician or the person whose content it is. So there's a lot of money that's being made by YouTube from Nike and Adidas and all types of, you know, different corporations that want their ads in front of these videos. So they have to pay for that. And YouTube's making bank, and that's how they survive. But Facebook is also trying to get into that world, and you start to see ads on Facebook video, which is actually somewhat new still. So if you were to post an image or a link to YouTube on your Facebook, hey, check out my new single, blah, 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 nobody gets to see that because Facebook has the algorithm suppress that and give preferential treatment to their own in-house shit. So you upload a video directly to Facebook, something unique, and it sees all types of more exposure than these other things would have. And that was done on purpose. You know what I'm saying? So the name of the game now is like these battles of creating content visually and all types of shit where you can promote a single. Like, you know, the days of like the old days where they're like, hey, I got a new single on this vinyl coming out, you know, circa 1970s or 80s. It's going to go to radio. What's a music video? Like that shit is gone. You know what I'm talking about? So
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Long story short is that's what I'm doing primarily now. It's just so needed. So
what's your like dream gig? Like what's a dream project you want to like accomplish, if you can talk about it, or even like in a vague sense, like, do you want to make film? Like my dream is to write and direct something that I made one of these days. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I like writing scripts, and I want to fucking shoot one of those scripts and direct it and, you know, watch it come to fruition.
I mean, there's something beautiful in that though, right? Where, you know, something that you creatively write and structure in your brain. You're like, hey, I got these ideas and this kind of, you know, setup and the whole night. Like, that's what I want to do. Like I have, you know, you and me have, in both of our careers have always aligned in some capacity. Like our goals are always so similar. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I'm the same as you. Like I want to start getting into filming like movies and short films. Cause obviously filming a movie, it's expensive and the logistical requirements for that are insane. Like, can you imagine trying to film, an hour-and-a-half movie and fund every location, pay actors to take it seriously and actually show up. Like, I don't have money for that, neither of us do, but short films are kind of a cool way to start doing that, or to start writing scripts, So me, I'm not really writing scripts. That's definitely your thing. You're a fucking prolific writer, my friend.
You're too kind.
And for me, I've got some ideas for videos. I kind of want to pivot into that, and I do love music, and I continue to work that world. That's part of me forever. But it would be cool, to get to some point in time where I could create a concept and make a movie out of it.
Yeah. It's man, that would be just the dream. Like, music is awesome, and I love making music. When I make like a song a year now, and I do still listen to music and try to find the new stuff. But there's something about video and film, like when you see, like, even those little short films I did with my dog during quarantine, like those it's just so
awesome,
fun.
Actually.
Oh yeah, thank
awesome,
you,
dude. Yeah.
It's just something like so gratifying seeing, like, damn, we shot that in my fucking living room, against the green screen. I was holding treats up, and just like to see people's reaction and laughing over it and stuff. There's something, it's something extra special, dude. I love it. Yeah, dude, absolutely. But I mean, it's almost not a surprise though. You know what I'm saying? Because, writing music is storytelling, especially within your world. Your genre, like, hip hop, rap, that is storytelling. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And my world is a little bit more generic, based on repetitive anger, vague shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, versus like Souls of Mischief, or like an Immortal Technique. Like the storytelling behind these things is almost like a fucking movie, Well, and actually, you got me into, I for people know that I'm not really current I'm not really up on current rap.
Okay.
Not because I'm a hater or anything. I just, I listen to like the same 6-7 artists that I've listened to forever. But you got me up on Pro Era and Joey Badass, and I'm like, I'm like obsessed with that dude, Joey Badass, and
dude, they're great, man. That's almost like a resurgence of that, early '90s shit. Aesthetic, that like hieroglyphics vibe, intellectual rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got me up. You were like, yo, you got to check out Pro Era, dude. They got like 90s drums and shit. And I was like, all right. And I listened to it and I was like, oh, yeah. So
you put me,
you put me on, man.
I'm like wearing a Slayer shirt right now, I think, right? Damn.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, that's almost a staple of something that is super important to understand too, is like, listen to all types of music, like open your mind. Because, dude, you were the biggest Marilyn Manson fan in the world. By the way, bad move nowadays. But anyways,
canceled, dude.
Yeah, and I was never like a huge.
I love Marilyn, dude. He was like, I had his tour DVDs and all that, dude. Like, I was.
And I was like, oh, I don't get it, even though I understand it, like, and in rock world and stuff like that, he's pretty substantial influence.
First beat I ever made was chopping up that Sweet Dreams cover he did, and it was the very first beat I think I ever made, man. And rap too, but Marilyn Manson, fucking R.I.P. Marilyn Manson.
But case in point is like, listen to whatever you like, man. Listen to rock, listen to
I've been listening to so much classic rock lately, it's crazy. But all right. So speaking on film, dude, what's your favorite film? What's your fucking favorite film?
Yeah,
that's a hard question.
Ass shit, my friend. Yeah. Oh shit. Well, I'm a huge fan.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. You go first, man.
I'll just my first. Like it might not be my favorite film of all time, but my instinct is to always say Gangs of New York. So, or Contact, but people don't really like Contact that much.
And but Gangs of
New York though is, dude, I'm just a big Leo fan, dude. You know me and Leo, dude. You know me and Leo, dude. Oh yeah, Romeo and Juliet, the classic Leo. It's what I'd like to say.
Okay, got you. The
No, but Gangs in
rom-coms, or
New
not even
York,
coms.
dude, is just like fucking. Gangs in New York is a masterpiece of a movie. You know what I mean?
It was good.
Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. Man, I mean, sorry, I'm losing my voice. That is a tough question, but I mean, you know me, like I'm super into sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
Like I've always really loved mind-bending, like concepts. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where like, super slow, like no disrespect to Quentin Tarantino and all that stuff, but like a lot of those, like what was what was the movie? It was like Death Drive.
Oh, Death Proof.
Death Proof. Yeah. Like I watched that and it was super. I think it was like 3 hours long.
A lot of
And it was
people
like-
don't really like that one, but I really do. Like, I could listen to his dialogue all day.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, you like the nuance and stuff of dialogue. And for me, it was like, 3 hours of dialogue about people that lived in kind of a normal scenario with a car, and it was like this, it felt so boxed in of a concept, you know what I'm saying? So like for me, I really have always loved sci-fi, like, TV shows like Farscape and Firefly and Stargate and, all this nerd
Farscape,
shit.
dude, with Farscape.
I love
mean,
that stuff.
I like Star Trek and stuff, but Farscape's a little like Jim Henson-y. Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's the point though. Like it was done by Jim Henson, his Creature Shop.
It's a little
And, like,
Fraggle Rock looking.
Well, dude, I mean,
I'm not
there was,
talking
like-
shit. I'm not talking shit.
I'm saying I'm going to defend this shit right now.
Right, go ahead, man. Put it down.
So Jim Henson, he had like Sesame Street and all this like kid shit that raised us. It's cool, I get it. But then he like turned and started doing this really cool ass dark shit. Like you had like Labyrinth. Did you watch that?
Oh yeah,
You
I
like
watched
that?
it a lot. I know
was dope.
I know all the
right?
music to it, dude. My
Exactly.
sister. That was like my sister's movie to like shut me up when we were like when she would babysit me as a kid and shit. Yeah.
That was Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Dark Crystal. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
Dark Crystal.
I lived right around
That
the
was
corner
cool.
in
That was, like-
Hollywood from Jim Henson's Creature
Dude,
Shop.
same. Yeah. Dude, love that shit. But anyways, they had the idea to do a sci-fi TV show in Australia called Farscape.
Yeah.
And they used like this crazy in-depth animatronics and shit. I love that shit. But now that I look back at it in my age now, I'm like, it's some cheesy shit, whatever. But for me, I mean, having an open dialogue or concept based around no constraints, that's sci-fi. You know what I'm saying? Like the Twilight Zone was sci-fi. Love that shit.
Twilight.
You know what I'm saying? Star Trek.
I'm a sci-fi head too. Like Prometheus.
Nice. I love Prometheus. One of my top movies for sure.
Interstellar I really liked. Some people hated that. What do you think?
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was
love that.
amazing. One of my favorites, actually. Me and my girlfriend at the time looked at each other and was just like, holy shit, after that movie. But my favorite sci-fi movie is probably Contact. Did you ever watch that?
I like
one?
Contact. That was cool.
Yeah.
Jodie Foster, right?
Yeah, it was Carl Sagan's only novel.
Of course.
The only fictional...
I've got a Carl Sagan book like 5 feet from me. Yeah.
As the great Carl Sagan once said, "Are you dumb, stupid or dumb?" The Catacomb Cult returns now.
Yeah,
great.
it's the only book only fictional book he ever wrote was Contact.
Wow.
Yeah. I love that movie. But
Yeah, I mean, even Arrival. That was kind of a new version of Contact. Like
it was
all
shot
types of
pretty
stuff.
too. That one was shot pretty.
Yeah, it looked great. Okay, favorite movie though.
Yeah.
Let me flip the script though and contradict everything I just said for the past like hour about sci-fi.
Right. What's up? Lay it on me.
One of my favorite movies of all time is actually 13th Warrior. Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah. I think you
Antonio
made me watch that when
Banderas.
we were kids, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It is a good
one
one.
of-
It's like Vikings,
the-
right, or something?
The most like underrated movies. It flew so far under the radar.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was a beautiful movie. It was about Antonio Banderas and like he bumps into these Vikings and basically they I don't even want to give it away. Like just check it out. Right.
Yeah, it's a dope one. So yeah, man, let's wrap it up. And I have a few more questions for you. These are rapid fire. These are philosophical.
No, not doing it. Okay,
and they're
keep
vague.
going.
They're super vague. It's my final segment. I haven't titled it yet. We're gonna have fake ads and shit too throughout all of this too. You know, remember that trailer I showed you?
In a world ravaged by plague and despair, there is one who has been chosen, unaware and oblivious. Her one-track mind only cares about treats. This is one treat that has a whole lot of truth. Whisked away through a wormhole defying space and time, she is Bazooka Tooth. Starring in The Medicine Bag and Medicine Bag 2, Dogtopia. Visit 40ec.com or at Javin Romero on Instagram to witness the mind-bending journey of the snuggly-wuggly, stinky-poo-poo good dog. Roof, roof.
Yeah.
Don't say fake ads.
Yeah.
Dude, this is me cutting my risk to the world, dude.
I'm saying just throw the ads in, like show the format, you know?
Yeah. But all right, man. Okay. So question number 1 for this philosophical corner.
Okay.
All right. All right. What is knowledge?
Okay. I just grabbed a book so I could match you, right? What is knowledge?
I know. I need my notes to remember that shit, dude. My brain is so soaked in Budweiser, it's crazy. But go ahead.
It's actually a journey to the center of the earth. There's,
Oh, nice,
book.
dude.
But anyways, I just grabbed it here. What is knowledge? I honestly feel like knowledge is the understanding of opening your mind to new concepts that you don't understand, and keeping that open mind versus people that, kind of in their lives, they get to a point where they say, I know everything. I don't want to learn anything. And they get stuck in this weird, like almost like Plato's cave theory, right?
Yeah.
Where an individual is born and bred and it lives in a cage, in a cave. And like their whole life is basically the shadows that are projected on the cave. That is their entire life, know? To exit the cave and shatter through these walls and keep an open mind and learn. That is knowledge, like there is really no end to where you can go in terms of learning. Like I could literally go into a library or go on the internet and start watching tutorials and classes and shit, and I could learn forever. There's so much knowledge that I literally could die and know a lot. Like I would learn so much if I dedicated my life to learning, but there's so much knowledge out there that I feel like the core basis of what knowledge is just allowing yourself to be that vessel and to actually absorb it. Because without an open mind, there really is no knowledge. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't know how to read a book, what's the point of the book, Yeah,
and there's no personal growth or anything like that without an open mind, But
exactly.
Very good, very good.
Thank you.
You passed that one.
Very, very astute. Okay.
Yeah, very, very astute.
I'm gonna put my glasses on. Continue this knowledge pursuit. Continue, sir.
All right, question number 2. How should we conduct ourselves?
What do you mean by we? Humanity?
Individuals, how we as a human race. I mean, that could be pretty broad because there's a lot of... I don't know, man. Answer this. That's what the philosophy... You got to think about this.
I love it. How should we conduct ourselves?
Answer how you take it. How you took that question and absorbed that question.
I love it. I'm absorbing it. I feel like how we as society should conduct ourselves is to look at the overall big picture. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like for us, everybody is very, especially in our society, like, in American society, it's very like self-satisfying. It's very, singular. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like, I watch somebody go into McDonald's, buy ultra Big Macs, or is that McDonald's? I don't eat meat that much. Like they consume big things, throw shit out on the street, not even a garbage can, drive away. Like, there's a weird scenario where they conduct themselves in a very singular capacity. You know what I'm talking about? Whereas
very self-serving.
Exactly. And I mean, this expands out to like countries too. Like every country is almost like they say, we're societies, like, there's the US and there's Russia and China, all these things like countries. But really what it is like gangs. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Where they, they do like retaliatory things and they consume as much of like natural resources. Like if we look at the grand scheme of it, like whatever the most powerful country in the world is the one that has the most resources left. You know what I'm talking about? Which is very self-centered. It's I get it. It's a strategic move to have the last of the fossil fuels or whatever. But what I'm saying is, for us as a collective, we need to start thinking of, we as in things that we need to focus on and not just a singular driving purpose. You know what I'm talking about? It's like, interesting to see how much shit people bicker about on the daily that in the grand scheme of things doesn't really matter. I mean, if you think about it, I've got a friend that tracks meteorites. You know what I'm talking about? That's his job. And the amount of just like debris and random rocks that are flying through this, through space and almost hitting Earth. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like scary, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that is.
So it's like, yeah, could you imagine people like,
we're going to war? It's a shooting gallery out there, dude.
It is. But you know what's crazy is, we as a society spend more money on certain things that don't really make sense. You know what I'm talking about? Versus looking at it in the grand scheme of things. It's like, as we're bickering with the superpowers, which is the US, Russia, China, the whole thing, we're always trying to fuck each other up and compete in tariffs and all types of stuff. We need to like all look at this grand scheme as like a collective, that a fucking rock in space could literally just take us out like the dinosaurs. You know what I'm talking about? So maybe
it's that old saying that what Stephen Hawking did, like if aliens came and were hostile tomorrow, we'd come together as a human race real fast.
Of course, I mean? So, exactly. But that's the flaw. It's like, why are we constantly fighting as well? Like in the existence of America, we've been at war for, I don't know the exact number, but I think it was 97% of our existence has been at war. You know what I'm talking about? It's like, so sorry to get super deep about that.
Well, hold that thought, actually, because that is the third question. It's similar to the second question. Third and final question is, how should we govern ourselves? Like, do you think there should be a president, a vice president? Like, do you think the structure of government, within reason, that's something that's actually possible? You know what I mean? What do you think about that? Some people how some people want to abolish police and all that, How do you think we should govern ourselves? Or have you thought about it?
I have thought about that, yeah. How should we govern ourselves? Okay. What I would probably say is governing ourselves. Where do I want to take this jab?
I don't know, dude. You don't have to get too crazy about it. It's just I'm
getting pretty deep on some political shit on this right now lately.
You don't have to get political. I was just like the power structures at B. Like, do you think there should be changes in that? And like, do you have any? Well, fuck it, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna keep. this in.
I know my answer. I got it.
Okay.
So, how do I think we should govern ourselves? Like, in my head, it kind of loops back to what I learned. They said absolute power corrupts absolutely. You know what I'm talking about? Where if there's any one individual that strives for power or control, like that's kind of a weird scenario. But we can't really trust that we as a collective, everybody's got the same mentality. Like I think something mentally has to happen where we almost come together as like this weird like solidarity type scenario. You know what I'm talking about? Where, conflicts and moves by government isn't based strictly on financial profit or gains for whatever. It's based on the collective knowledge of we as the human race won't allow suffering and stuff like that. So I feel like we are eventually heading in the right direction where, the singular goals of any government or individual is going to be outweighed by a collective understanding of, hey, live and let live. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So, I mean, maybe that's some Star Trek like Utopia bullshit, but I love the idea.
It's all the power struggle. Like, you'd have to be kind of insane to want to become a president. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to have that notion, like, I'm going to become president is like, you got to be a little cuckoo. But all right. Anyway, last question. This isn't a question. This isn't a like a philosophical question.
Okay. Cool.
But so this is going to be called "What kind of grift is this?"
Okay, gotcha.
So tell me like a life hack or a grift that preferably fucks over the man a little bit, but no, it doesn't have to be that. But just like a life hack that, like kind of grifting the system a little bit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If you have any offhand.
I mean, this isn't really a grift, but this is kind of along that line.
Life hack, grift, whatever.
Yeah, life hack and a grift, and this can sound ludicrous and very like simple that most people would understand this, but most people don't. For me, the biggest grift or understanding that you need is to live within your means. You know what I'm talking about? And that's something that most people that I know, I'm sure you know as well.
Yeah.
They don't live within their means. People are buying expensive cars to show off that they're rich, and then they're paying monthly payments that are just ludicrous and they can't survive doing other shit, or they're living in areas getting a 5-bedroom house when they really only realistically needed 2 bedrooms. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like that's almost a life hack. Just live within your means. Like don't try to, get the mentality that you see on TV where you have to be a celebrity or rich or flaunt things. Because at the end of the day, like who gives a shit?
And at the end of the day, living within your means and stacking up dough gives you more freedom in the end.
I would rather travel, see the world, meet people before I die, and have these experiences than be stuck in like a ludicrous like $4,000, $5,000 a month mortgage on a house that nobody really gives a shit. They're like, oh, you own this house, cool, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's not an extension of your own being or your like facade or who you are in your own self-image. You know what I'm talking about? Like that stuff. I mean, we all see it. You know what I'm saying? Like on TV or movies or whatever, that's kind of injected in our head, especially in the US where it is a status thing. It's like you need expensive things. You need Gucci, you need a BMW or a Rolex or whatever, and that kind of shit. People feed into that because they don't think them as an individual is successful or attractive unless they cover themselves with like this weird expensive shit that, let's face it, some of these shirts that people pay like, $1,000 for it's the same material that you buy, just a regular shirt from the store for like 10, 15 bucks. You know what I'm talking about? It just makes no fucking sense to me.
Yeah, yours is definitely more, your grift is definitely more heartwarming than mine.
Nice. Okay, let's hear yours.
Well, I already said it last weekend. I kind of ran out of grifts already, but it was how to like basically steal a 30-pack of beer from the supermarket, but in a way that you won't get caught. It's you put it on the bottom underneath the fucking cart. And then you act like you forget it was there, you know what I mean? And then when you're checking out, you gotta buy a lot of shit at the same time, by the way. And
I'm talking the depths of society and how not to end up in poverty, and you're like, This is how you steal a 30-pack.
Exactly. That's what this podcast is going to be, dude.
Nice.
These contrasting opinions. But
love it.
No, I like your grift too. Your grift is
nice. Cool.
That is how I live within my means, because I definitely needs me beer, so I have to
Same. Drinking it right now.
But yeah, and by the way, on my grift, try to make sure the bagger doesn't come over, because he always spots it. and then he'll be like, "Did you get this?" And then you'll be like, "Oh shit, I forgot about that. Sorry." So it's like, it works about 50% of the time.
On the reverse grift side of that, I've gone to like Target or Walmart or whatever, and I buy shit and I put it at the bottom of the cart, what you're talking about, and I paid for it, whatever. Get out to my car, truck, or whatever, put the stuff in, and then I forgot that motherfucking shit on the bottom, and I just drive away. And then later I get in, I'm like, what the fuck? I really needed this or that. I thought I bought it, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I left it in the parking lot. Somebody else took it, so. You
need to start grifting more, because you need to start using my grift more, because you never forget it at the bottom. When when you walk out, you're like, well, all right, it is criminal. I say I don't really do that, actually. But
we used to have back in high school. We used to have a friend that would steal ice and shit, right?
Yeah. Who are you talking about?
Some dude, one of your friends, man. He would like steal ice. He'd just walk out with it, and they'd be like, "Hey," and he's like, "I bought this."
Still ice?
Like, just steal shit in general, man.
I don't know who. Man, we'll talk off air.
We'll talk off there. Okay.
Yeah. I did have a few friends. I've had friends that were just straight kleptos. I wonder if you're talking about that guy.
I bet I am. Yeah.
All right.
Probably.
All right. He actually stole it. He was in Warehouse. Remember Warehouse? I think it turned to FYE. He stole a CD. CDs were like in those plastic cases like this big.
Yeah.
He stole like 5 CDs while he was talking to the person and shit. Like he was good.
I almost stole CDs from that exact Warehouse, man, or the FYE. I remember I was a super huge fan of the Deftones. You know that?
Oh
band?
yeah, definitely.
And
new album's pretty kick ass too.
Yeah, the album was White Pony when that one came out. And I was like, Mom, like, before school, can you drive me super early? Like, the store opens at this time. And I was like obsessed, and I was like excited. I'm like, I could get there and then to school with enough time. So I go in right when it opened, like literally the minute it opened.
Yeah.
I go in, and there was 3 limited edition versions, like, of the jewel cases, right?
Yeah.
And I like grabbed the one I wanted, and I thought there'd be a line or some shit, and nobody was there. Like, nobody in Flagstaff, Arizona gave a shit about rock or whatever. Yeah. And I'm standing in, like, I grab it, and I'm standing at the register. Nobody's there. I'm waiting for like 20 minutes. I got to get to school and shit. I'm like, hello, like, who the fuck's here? And I was like, I could probably steal like every jewel case version for free and just bone the fuck out,
Warehouse was sketch, though. It was sketch.
It was super sketch, man. But I didn't do it. I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, run out with not paying CDs to my mom's car, like have my mom be my getaway driver for a Deftones fucking limited edition CD.
I'm not a thief, by the way, and it's not lost on me. It's not lost on me how ridiculous it is for a mid-30s man to be telling people how to steal fucking Budweiser. So
Javin used to get me alcohol, and I was a little older than you, but you looked way older, dude.
At Jalisco's, man. Yeah, he sold to me when I was like 16, man.
We used to,
he's shut down now, so like I'm not like diming him out or anything.
Yeah.
But I had like a goat. I had the Billy goat when I was like 14.
You look like some construction dude.
Yeah.
That was like maybe in his 30s.
I lived on my own too at that time, So
Dude, that was wild.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for doing this. This was an awesome episode. We could go on forever, dude. But
totally,
this was
talked about a lot of professional shit, dude, like stealing Budweiser.
Yeah,
and
no doubt.
Our past.
Yeah, man. We got some good info. I think the people will like this. So, adios, everybody. This has been the Catacomb Cult. Thank you again, Shan. Any last words? You want to plug anything?
So I'm on Instagram at Instagram.com/xshandanx. working on a lot of film stuff. I'm sure me and Jav is going to have some cool shit coming up here in the future. Probably some feature films that both of us are writing and filming the whole nine, man. This is a dream. So we'll probably come back to this video like 10 years from now and be like, dude, you remember when we talked about that? And now we're like, we got like Oscar awards and shit. Like,
yeah. Hell yeah, man. Well, thanks again, dude. I'm fucking running out of SD card here.
Nice.
But cool, man. Thank you. Peace out, everybody.
Cool, thanks,
later,
guys.
man.
Established in 399 BC, this is the Catacomb Cult.